And again, you know, I'm focusing on that denominator. Now look, if you've got the same denominator in that question at the beginning, combine the top rows, make your life easier. You've already got a common denominator. Okay, now we don't have a common denominator over here, but if you want, you can see that if that's going to be my common denominator, then I'm going to have to multiply this one. Top, it's basically 4 over 1, and I have to multiply the bottom by a minus 3, and I have to multiply the top by a minus 3 to make that denominator the same. Now what I want to show you here is, watch out, that's a dangerous situation, you've got a subtraction sign. Now when I combine my numerators here, I need to use brackets here, because that minus sign is going to get carried, what we say in English is, it's carried through the whole bracket like that. Now, if I use that thinking there and bring it down to this line, that's going to give me minus 4a squared. A minus and a minus makes a plus 12a, and then a minus and a plus makes a minus 32. So that bit in red is what you've really got to focus on. If you went wrong in that question, I bet it's that step there that's caused the problems. Now on the other side here, I've basically got this. I'm multiplying the top by a minus 3, and that gives me my common denominator down there. Right, before I equate the numerators, you know, I just want to tidy it up a bit. So I can combine this 4 and this minus 32. So I'm going to get minus a squared plus 12a. You've got to be careful here, minus 28 all over a minus 3 equals, okay, and on this side I'm just going to expand the bracket on the top, because that will make it easier to work with in a short while. And now you can see that we've got our common denominators on both sides, and we can then simply, so basically these numerators have to be equal to each other. That's the only way those fractions could be the same. So that's the part I'm now going to work with. So I need to solve the equation that gets formed by my numerator, so let's just take that out. Still got that sort of annoying subtraction sign at the beginning. Now I'm going to show you a technique, because what we tend to do, if we want to solve a quadratic, we need to make that quadratic equal 0. So it's not, this isn't a normal linear equation anymore. And I need to use my quadratic equations skills. Okay, if you're a balancing person, then what you'd be doing is you'd be subtracting 4a from both sides. I'd advise just doing one thing at a time to avoid mistakes. So that's going to give me plus 8a minus 28. And now I've just got, now I've actually not got 0 here, because I've still got my minus 12 to deal with. So obviously now I add 12 to both sides, and we've now made that equal to 0. Now again, minus 28 plus 12, be careful with your negatives, that's going to give me minus 16 now. Now, here, you've got a quadratic equation, but you've got a minus sign in front of that quadratic equation. Now, if you're in a situation like that, a simple thing you can basically do is, you can basically, I'll use the German method here, I'm going to say that I'm going to multiply everything by minus 1. It basically means if I multiply everything by minus 1, all the signs change. This becomes positive a squared, this becomes minus a, that's positive 16. Now you don't get minus 0, it's still 0. Now that's still the same quadratic equation, because I haven't changed, because I've done the same thing to both sides, but this is now a much easier quadratic equation to work with. And looking at that, I can see that factorizes nicely to a minus 4 times a minus 4. So just multiplying that through my head to check it works, it does, and you can see you've only got one solution then. What you've been doing with quadratics is you've tended to write down that, or you know, the thing in the second bracket, but the thing in the second bracket's the same. So you don't need to do that twice. We've only got one answer coming up for this one, and that's a equals positive 4. So that's an example there of an equation that we've solved. Let's just go back through it. We can almost see the whole thing here. Back at the beginning, again, some of the key steps to help you. If you have a quadratic which already has common denominators, combine your terms, and it makes your working a bit easier. You're working with less things.